going to see if I can keep up with a daily vlog. And I'm not too sure if this is something that I can continue on a regular basis over a long period of time, but I'm at least going to give it a try for a few days out of the week, and that's what I'm going to do. So this is my dress that I have on today, and it is a pink wrap dress, and I don't usually wear bright colors, but I'm just in a fairy princess kind of mood today. I gave myself a 5-inch haircut last night. Well, it happened over a few days over the weekend. So I did the first few inches on Saturday, and then I decided to do some more yesterday because I'd rather just get rid of all the loose ends. And my hairline is starting to recede. I've noticed this over the past year, and I'd like to get it back. So I'm going to get back my hairline, and I will document how I will be doing that. So come along for my journey, and this is a whole another chapter of my beauty journey and my beauty routine and beauty pageant things and hair and black girl hair, and I just need to get my hairline back, and I need to have healthy hair again. I didn't have a haircut previously for about 4 years, up until last year December. So that's a pretty long time to go without a haircut and to be also straightening and curling my hair a few times a week. So on one hand, I'm really disappointed in myself. On the other hand, that's a really good amount of time to have my hair still on my head for not taking care of it more in terms of giving it a haircut. Yes, I can do hair masks all day long, but if I'm doing heated styles without giving myself a trim, then you know what, nothing else matters. So that's a hard lesson that I learned. And today I have my hair in a bun, and I'm going to head to work, and of course I won't be filming what I'll be doing there, but I'm going to take you along for perhaps my lunch as well as after work and the things that I'll be doing. I uploaded a few videos over the weekend, and a few that will be coming out later on this week, and I'm just excited again about life, and this has really been a really fun thing for me. I've always been into marketing and digital content creation, and I've always had it as like a side job coming out of university and into my late 20s. But now I've kind of decided that I could use all of the tools that I've had over the past to help businesses, to help public figures, and you know what, I'm going to do that for myself. So I need to get better with my YouTube editing. I just learned how to rotate a video. So some of my earlier videos, you'll see that the view is in like a portrait view, and it's like the box is really tiny, and it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that I didn't know how to change that at the time, but now I know how to do that. So I'm going to change it to widescreen, and all I have to do is to the view or the rotation of the video. And I need to begin to realize that yes, I'll be clipping different parts of the videos, but I also need to make sure that each clip, sometimes the settings will change on me by default. I need to go back to see if the settings have changed, and I also need to make sure that it's on a widescreen. So that is a tip that I learned over the weekend, and things are getting better. Thank you for those of you who have subscribed so far to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, like the videos. I'd love to hear more about what you're up to, or if these videos are helpful for you, and if you're enjoying them. So thank you again, and we'll see you later. Outfit turned out for today. I was a little bit uncertain when I left the house, but I realized, you know what, I'll just look like I'm going to a ballet class indefinitely with this new look. My hair now is about here, and I'm just going to let it grow out, and I need to work on this here. So working on some fullness again, and so for the rest of this afternoon I'm going to look at some arts kinds of things and look at what is next in store for me for the beauty side of my life, and how to stay involved and do some more cool things. I went to the wrong class, but it was okay. Very relaxing. So how did I end up at the wrong class? So I actually forgot my socks, and I didn't realize that until I actually pulled into the parking lot. And then I noticed that I was actually early, very early, so I decided to just take whatever class that was, and it was a very beginner class, but it was good. Practiced some splits with the straps and felt pretty good. So headed home now, and I'll be tinkering on my computer for a little bit, and then it's time for bed. This is kind of cute. I didn't realize this, but we have some spicy socks here. That's funny. So I just went for a walk and I got some groceries. It was so tempting to buy a cheesecake, but I didn't. So instead of a cheesecake, I'll have a banana with maybe some honey on it. And that's what we're doing. You know, I wanted to get some cashews, but the ones that I saw were salty. And I'd have to probably wash the salt off, which You know, I don't do those things anymore. So don't eat it. I'm not ready to have the salty food again. We're doing Bikini Pro. The salt will come later when I'm doing my water fasting. So that's when you do your carb loading, and then you eat some salt, more than perhaps usual, so that the water can leave your body. Hello, so it is 9:30 and I'm usually super exhausted by now, but something has been happening over the last, I'd say, few months where I find myself with more energy than usual throughout the day, and I'm just able to just stay awake, and I can still wake up at 5:30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 15 or 20 minutes on some French, and then I'm going to do some meal prepping for my lunches, because I've just been eating some nonsense, and that is, we can't have that. So I'm going to do some meal prepping, and then I'm going to do some stretching. So let's get to work.
Today we won't have any résumé. Let's get straight to our lesson. Le, la et l'apostrophe. Le, la et l'apostrophe. The three of them stands for the article it. Le is the masculine version, la the feminine one, et l'apostrophe when it's followed by a vowel. Let's see where to put it. First, before a conjugated verb. For example, tu vois la voiture? Non, je ne la vois pas. Here, the verb is voir. Conjugated. It appears under its feminine form, la. Since la voiture is feminine in French. Second rule, at the end of an infinitive. Je n'aime pas ce burger.
Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready?
But I realized that they were in this movie and I thought, well, this is pretty crazy. So my next deployment that I had, I was actually a little bit closer to the city center in Ontario again. And then I ended up traveling on the weekends for some dance classes, and at the time I would say that I was quite rusty in that, you know, I've had some gaps in my training, and then you know, dealing with inactivity and the muscle tightness that I ended up having due to my inactivity, and you know, memory, but it was all in my body still, so that muscle memory carried me through. So the pandemic ended, and then I was living up in a place called the Grey Bruce, and they didn't have a lot of advanced classes, so I always ended up doing like beginner level classes, and it just wasn't enough for me. Like, yes, I love being in spaces where I'm working on the basics, and that's also really important for me to continue, but I just needed something more, and I needed more advanced. So fast forward, ended up at a dance intensive, and that is where I fell in love with ballet all over again. And well, the rest is really history, because I ended up moving to a place where the arts is a very big part of the social fabric, and that is the great city of Ottawa. So I'm able to actually take classes, I would say any day that I want, and I've been able to really work and hone in on my technique. So over the years, I've been able to accumulate some things that have helped me to stay on track of my ballet goals. But I'm finally at a place where I'm a little bit more relaxed in terms of my sense of direction with ballet, and knowing that there are still opportunities out there, and you can also create opportunities for yourself and for others, and that's really important for me, and that's where the rest of the story comes in. So, backtracking back to the pandemic and my work with the Red Cross, and I'd come home and I'd start compiling different things from books and realizing that that this is kind of how it all worked out. So I ended up doing a timeline of my route to ballet. So we have academic award, ballet classes, competitions. Yes, I forgot that I also did African dance at one point, but I didn't score the highest in my class, and it was a little bit disappointing. But that's